All right, today we're going to dig into something you probably think you know, but trust me, we're going to look at it from a totally different angle. We're talking about the classic Swiss ski club. And I'll tell you what, it's so much more than just a club.
No, really, just for a second. What's the very first thing that pops into your head?
Yeah, I bet for most of you, it's something like this. Racing, hitting the slopes with your friends, maybe some of that famous après-ski action. And look, you're not wrong, but that is just barely scratching the surface.
But what if I told you that simple little organization is, well, it's actually the glue holding an entire town together. A powerful engine for social connection, for the local economy, even for building character. Yeah, okay, let's get into it.
So, to really get this, we've got to go back a bit. You have to understand these clubs weren't just dreamed up for fun and games. Nope, they grew like totally organically, right out of the fabric of life in the Alps. This right here, it's the perfect origin story. I mean, skis started out as a tool. Think of them as the snowmobile of their day, right? Absolutely essential for getting around. It wasn't until tourism started booming that skiing made the jump from work to play. And suddenly, you needed organized clubs to handle this new craze. And from the very beginning, their whole purpose was so much bigger than just skiing. Yeah, sure, they promoted the sport, but just as important, they became the social heart of these isolated mountain towns. They were a spark for the tourism economy, and they were the place where important values, like discipline, got passed down from generation to generation.
So the big question is how? How do they pull this off? Well, the material we're looking at shows that their real impact comes down to three key pillars. And believe me, they reach way beyond the ski slopes.
Okay, first up, pillar number 1. We're talking about their role as the social glue. That force that really creates and strengthens all the bonds within a community. And this all comes down to a really important idea called social capital. Now, this has nothing to do with money. It's about the wealth of trust, the shared understanding, and the personal networks that make a community truly strong and able to bounce back from anything. And ski clubs? Oh, they're absolute masters at building this stuff. I mean, just think about it. You've got these shared rituals, the annual club race, a big fondue night that builds tradition. It creates this powerful local identity. That pride in our club, in our town. You've got older skiers mentoring the younger kids, and all of it just weaves this incredible safety net of people you can count on.
All right, let's move on to pillar number 2, because this is where things get really interesting. These clubs aren't just social hubs. They are powerful and often totally underestimated economic engines. And what's so cool here is how you can see the ripple effect in action. One single ski race, it's never just a race. It's a huge injection of cash for the local economy. All those visitors, they need places to sleep, places to eat, shops to buy things. And that right there supports local businesses, creates jobs, and basically acts as a giant advertisement that puts the town on the map. Okay, and that brings us to our third and final pillar. And honestly, this one might be the most profound of all. We're talking about the club's role as a character builder, especially for the kids. Look, the main point here is that this is about so much more than just learning how to carve a perfect turn. It's about learning how to get back up every single time you fall. That's resilience. It's about cheering for your teammates even when you lose. That's sportsmanship. It's about looking up to a coach or an older club member and learning from their experience. I mean, these are life lessons, pure and simple, and they're being taught out there on the snow. But, of course, these places aren't just frozen in time, right? They're facing some very real, very modern challenges. And they have to adapt, they have to evolve if they're going to survive. And this is where their resilience really shines. You can see the pressures and their super clever responses. So, climate change means less reliable snow? No problem. They diversify and become year-round clubs, offering stuff like hiking and mountain biking. People's social habits are changing? Okay, they get smart. They start using social media and offering more flexible memberships. Money's getting tight? They get creative and find new ways to bring in cash through sponsorships and grants. It's pretty amazing. So, when you step back and look at the whole picture, the story of the Swiss Ski Club really becomes this powerful lesson, one that applies way beyond the Alps. I mean, this quote from the source material just nails it, doesn't it? They are not merely venues for athletic pursuits. Instead, they're dynamic social institutions that are doing the hard, essential work of building and holding a community together. And really, that's the big takeaway. It doesn't matter if it's a ski club or a book club, a community garden, or your local theater group. Any group that's built on a shared passion, it has the potential to become one of these cornerstones for its community. So that kind of leaves us with one final question for you to think about. Just look around your own life, your own town. What are those unsung engines in your community? What are the clubs, the groups, the organizations that are quietly doing all this important work of holding things together? I bet if you really look, you'll be surprised by what you find.